Are you ready?
My name is Vanda.
How we receive our information is determined on where we are with ourselves mentally and emotionally. It absolutely makes a difference. So welcome to receptivity, to the way you are receiving the energy, the information, the vibration, the frequency, and all of those things that absolutely impact us on a nanosecond, minute, hour basis. It's a non-stop effect. So just think about this, that everything has a vibration. Everything is an oscillation of waves coming together. It's like hearing music. You're not hearing note by note. You're hearing the whole conjunction of that harmony of all of those notes coming together. And how you receive it is where you are, right? But it's also how it's played. But who is the receptor? Is it the person that is playing, or is it the person that is hearing? And this is what I want to raise your energy to and your awareness to. That it matters more how you're receiving something than the ones that are sending it off. Why? Because there are times that we are disconnected to the confusion, or we're disconnected to us feeling good, or we're disconnected to the benevolent, or we're disconnected to the ideas and emotional feeling good. And it can be for a split second, a moment, a day. Will those days, those moments, and those aspects of what is happening impact you? And that is what we want to raise your awareness to, is how you're receiving your information is so important. Why? Because we are all human beings. We are all spiritually connected. We are all sensitive to some degree. Some are less, some are more, but we are all sensitive. We are all intuitive. Some people's intuition is a little bit, other intuitions are a lot. It's how you are receiving that information and allowing that information to be received. But we cannot deny the fact that we are also all the contributors and the innate creators of all that is around us. Why? Because there are laws that are in place, and we cannot defy those, and we cannot deny them either. So let's go back to the basics. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And how and why is this so important to raise your awareness to? You don't want to be raising your awareness to the chaos. Why? Because then your attention's to the chaos. You don't want to be raising your awareness to, what's going on there with all that negativity. Why? Because the minute you look at it and you ponder about it and you speak about it and you become focused on it and you're talking about it, then you're feeling it, and then law does what law does. Right? Okay. So what do we want to do? We want to understand, one, what have I said? We are sensitive. Two, what else are we? We're intuitive. What about being empathic? How many of us are truly empathic, where we have the ability to walk into a room and you just sense that vibrational attunement of how the room feels? If I were to ask you, and if I was in a classroom, or if I was in one of my workshops right now, how many of you'd probably raise your hand. Right now, I know that you're nodding within and you're now listening to me. If you have the ability to walk into the room and to sense what is going on, you are empathic. That means that your vibration and the vibration of the room, boom, has met. And now it is corresponding with each other. Which one will be the one that dominates? Will the room that is filled with gossip or distortions or chaos or negativity have the power to distort you? Or will you be able to overcome that and be able to rebalance it in how you receive it? I don't know. Only you know how you walk into those rooms or those situations or those conversations, and you know how you feel in those rooms or in those conversations or in those segments of your life or chapters of your life or events. Why am I bringing this up? Because I'm raising your awareness to your receptivity, right? So let's go back. So I said, 1, you're sensitive. 2, you're intuitive. 3, you might have empathy. But what is the other one? Being empathic is one thing. Understanding empathy is a whole other thing. When you are compassionate, when you have an understanding, you can feel the other person's pain or you can feel the other person's joy, right? And this is where we are brought together to understand that how we relate to one another has a response to how we receive from one another too, right? So the way you receive your information is the way that you are tuning in to yourself, as if you are a huge tuning fork, right? And your tuning fork is able to stay connected to yourself, be tuned into yourself, and you're able to what? What is that other one that makes the biggest difference? What is that ray of light that I call it a ray of light that makes it the greatest differentiator, that creates the greatest impact in how you are responding to what you are receiving? What could that be? I love to call this poise. I love to call it what it is. Poise is for me a complete ray of light. It's part of your ray of light. It's part of that collection. It's part of that essence of those rays of light that constitute and help you understand that somebody else's emotions are not necessarily yours. It is how you receive them from where you are mentally, from where you are emotionally, and from where you are in your own evolution as a human being. How many times have you had an angry person come in and charge their anger and those errors and that distortion all at you, and you go like this, and you get right angry back at them? What did this contribute? I mean, sometimes it's necessary to be firm, but anger on anger is not going to bring peace. Anger on anger is going to bring an explosion. Immediate satisfaction, long term, it resonates more anger within your cellular structure. So let's go back to what receptivity looks like on a day-to-day basis so that you're able to understand this, to serve you as you journey through your days and as you journey through each room, helping you understand and uncover what you are receiving. So first of all, your receptors, every aspect of you has the ability to receive information. Why? Because that's who we are. We are unlimited, undefined, divine energy. We are pure intelligence. That is how we do it. We are beyond our imaginations. We are those aspects and those sparks of light of consciousness. Everything coincides and everything brings themselves together to correspond. An innate, receptive conjunction of you understanding who you are being. That is how we grow. That is how we develop ourselves. That's our, either we refocus our attention when it doesn't feel good, or we stay caught up in the great wheels of karma, just re-looping and redrawing those angers, resharing that negativity, reinstating those hardships, reinstating and recharging those struggles, and never getting off that hamster wheel. So today it's about You being the greatest receptor that you are able to be. Understanding that every emotion has a trigger format that triggers you to either feel good or not so good. It is in the contrast that we are learning. It is in the contrast that you're understanding, oh my goodness, my cup might be full. I might be overtired, or I might be overcharged, or I might be oversensitive, or I might not be listening to my intuitive, empathic self with enough empathy for myself. That's such great information. And so much information right there. So the whole point of this episode or this conversation and this time with you is to enlighten a spark of options. Let you know that everything that you're doing is becoming either more or less. Either becoming more or less. And you're either becoming more or less. Today it's about you understanding that you have the innate receptive power within you to be able to churn that energy through your own vibrational frequency and become more and more and more and more of who you are, and not less of who you are. The less factor is when you surrender yourself to the chaos. There is no exit to chaos. The exit to chaos comes from within, and it can only come from within. It can only come from you being able to receive those 4 things that I'm sharing about. You receiving enough sensitive information about you. These things are sensitive to me. I do not feel good about them. How many times do we go do things that we don't feel good about and then expect a different result? You don't feel good about them in the morning, you're not going to feel good about them at lunch, and you're definitely not going to feel good about them at dinner time. And the outcome of that is that you're going to sleep with what you don't feel good. The good news is that we sleep. And in that sleeping, all else gets interrupted so that you're able to reset when you wake up. And then it starts all over again. So receptivity is your ability. Receptivity is a lot of different things, but my conversation with you today is receptivity is how are you receiving your information? And what happens to you when you're receiving someone else's information? Information that's on the news, information that you heard on social media, information that you heard at the table, information that you heard in a boardroom, information that you heard over the radio, information that is just out there. Are you just allowing it to pack it on and ignoring your own sensitivities, ignoring and not listening to intuition, literally ignoring that you do have power? You are empathic. You have the power to dominate a room. And are you ignoring the fact that you are empathic, that you do have feelings for others and for humankind? Because at the end of the day, you've got to understand, we are benevolent. We want to serve. We want to have a need to be able to serve and to be loved. We all do. That's the beautiful part of it. That at the end of the day, we will all come together. And we will all hold hands and support one another. Unfortunately, it's only when chaos strikes. So today is about liberating yourself from those ideas and bringing back on a day-to-day basis of how you are feeling when you walk into that room and it doesn't feel good. Are you maintaining that ray of light that I shared earlier on? Do you still remember it? It's called poise. Are you reacting to somebody's overcharged anger, or are you remaining poised, knowing that you are a sensitive human being that has the choice to override that anger and see the positive in that because you know it has got nothing to do with you? Or are you going to react and give up everything, throw your toys out of the cart, for a small little victory that will always keep you in that loop of reincarnating into the same things, into the same angers, because one anger will bring on a different person, but it's based on the same anger. It's based on you being angry. And anger is necessary. Anger is an emotion. It lets you know, enough. I'm full. I do not like this. Listen. That is part of your intuition. Are you being receptive to how you feel? Are you being receptive to your intuition? Are you being receptive to the way you feel as you walk into the room, to hear somebody else's conversations, to the news, to conversations of impact or other conversations per se? But most important, are you being empathic to your own needs? Because at the end of the day, this is your life. This is your journey. And if you're not looking within and you don't have the ability to understand that you will continuously, on a constant basis, be receiving information on a non-stop basis, then you are ignoring the fact that we are here to evolve from these situations. Where it gets tricky, what I want to share about you staying poised, there are days that you are poised, you are anchored, you feel good. Not even a hailstone knocking on your head can take the goodness and the smile out of your heart. But there are those days that a little leaf dropping on you going, oh my God, the world is crashing. Why would that be? That is when you need to pay attention. Those are the days that you need to know that what you are receiving inside is saying, I might need a day, a moment, a break from this sensitivity so that I'm able to pay attention and listen to my intuition. Sometimes it just takes 10 minutes of meditation. If you are allowing yourself to really silence the noise and listen to your breath and still the mind. But what happens is that people are meditating in chaos. They feel that they're meditating, they are receptive to what's going on in their mind and calling it meditation. You want to be able to understand what that ray of light brings to you and how it falls in. So I want to just leave you with this. Poise is the way that you hold yourself within yourself. Once you know that you are connected to your higher self and that you're seeing your higher self and that you're holding your higher self in a higher regard, that all comes back to you in a responsive way of stillness and peace. If you're meditating and you're getting chaotic, that means that your receptors are distorted and overcharged. It's not a matter of stepping back. It is a matter of coming in and stepping within you and knowing that what you're receiving is vital information. It's not about being good or bad. It's about how are you being when you receive this information. And it's in that your day begins to understand that you're grateful for all the feelings you get, because then it's up to you to choose which way you take. All right, that was a loaded one. Sure.
My name is Vandana.